Okay, so all my Americans that are red bones, mulattoes, octoroons, quadroons, red Creoles, everybody that's in that category, but all my Americans. You know, it's funny. I went on a live stream today, and the live streams was hosted by some guys from Africa. I mean, true guys from like Nigeria, Liberia, and that kind of thing. And they were talking about Black Americans. You heard me? They're talking about Black Americans. Fat Joe Cooking America, Race and Identity. Are Black Americans African or Native? That was the name of their live stream, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I get a kick going on some of these things because you get people that hide behind avatars, and they really let it out. I can say that what you're seeing on the screen right now is me, and I got called all kind of names, but it just lets you know where we stand, where Americans that are of a mixed heritage stand. And that's why we need to create our own lane, right? Cheryl, we know who we are. We know of our ancestry and our background, but a lot of them just aren't going to accept us and not going to want us to speak up, regardless of how much we know, how much we are part of the race, right? So, I mean, anytime you get people talking about Malcolm X is mixed, Rosa Parks doesn't belong, Farrakhan is mixed, all of these people come up here, and all the Black leaders that got all kind of policy written and changed for Black America. Now they're saying those people don't belong. So if Malcolm X was around today, Malcolm X couldn't talk for Black people. Just wouldn't happen, right? All the other people that were at the forefront of civil rights couldn't talk for Black people, right? So we really need to understand where we are in their mind, because regardless of what they say to you face to face, it's just like other groups getting in the kitchen and talking about you behind your back. So anyway, let's get to this video. I'm not going to show any of it, but you guys can check it out. Let me see who the guy's name is. Khazarian Empire, and his whole thing was about asking Black people where they fit in. And the conversation went on for 6 hours. I got in, and then I came back, and then I left. I came back again. This thing went on for 6 hours. I couldn't believe it. But you had people, you had the Africans, and you had Puerto Ricans, and you had others, Jamaicans, arguing with Black people about Black people didn't, or Americans of African descent. How's that? Americans of African descent didn't contribute anything, but yet they want to come over to America. So, I had to enlighten them. I had to tell them that we created the refrigerated truck. I didn't mention that we are the real McCoy, but if I said the real McCoy, they'd have to scratch their head wondering what I was talking about. It's only named after a Black engineer who created a certain type of grease that became known as the real McCoy. But they probably think that's some country bumpkin somewhere. And so, but it's interesting because you get on these panels and you get into these arguments, and I got in, and they devolve, and I devolved. I went there with them. I'm not gonna lie. I went there. I went down that road with them. I started to curse and talk my ish, but they start calling me, "Oh, you old grandpa, you old. We're not going back to the 1940s." And it's just funny how they go into name calling in order to not address the issues that are being talked to because they can't handle it, right? And so, anyway, I'm going to make this real short. You people of mixed heritage, we need our own category. And anytime a new group can get their own category, MENA, Middle Eastern North African, can get on the census as an ethnicity, as a group, we ought to be able to create our own. So, I put in the title EXE. It's just an idea, but we need to start talking about how we're going to get our census category back, because these people coming over to America are out to get us. Trust me. All you have to do is ask, why do Puerto Ricans not call themselves Americans? Even the ones that they say have been here for a couple generations. There was a guy that said his family was here in 1920. He has nothing to do with what happened to us in the 1800s and the 1700s and the 1600s and the 1500s. No, nothing. But he thinks his history is more important, and he gets the cap on us. My family's been here 1920s. You just barely here. Just barely here. So you have to ask yourself, why do they call themselves Puerto Rica? Why do they call it New Yorican? They're not Americans. Ask yourself why Jamaicans call themselves Jamaicans, Dominicans, Italians, Italian Americans. Ask yourself that. And then reflect and wonder why we need to call ourselves something, but make it understood that we are Americans. And we'll come up with our name. I like the fact that this guy has created the STIR Foundational Black America, because we were foundational.